Charlamagne, Jesus. Joe Budden, Wallow asked Joe, are him and Charlamagne cool?
Said, are they buddies?
Joe just straight up, no.
Just shrugged it off.
No.
But he did say, like, anything can happen, except him going on the Breakfast Club again.
Right.
Which I found very strange. Like,
really?
I
kind of
it's possible that we could be friends again, but like the Breakfast Club appearance, that can't happen no more. Why is that impossible?
I don't think I want a Joe Budden Breakfast Club appearance.
Even now?
No.
I'd rather him do something separate.
I don't go to the Breakfast Club with the same
infatuation
and the same energy and excitement that I used to.
And we're left with Angela Yee.
Kinda, yeah.
When Envy stops scamming.
And is that because she was good, or now it's just not the same cartoon I used to watch every Saturday?
But I don't know, because to be fair, I did stop watching even when she was there. But I mean, even at least I still knew what I was getting with all three of them. You know what I mean? But it's like, now that she's not there, I really have no desire.
You don't know what you're getting into.
I don't know what I'm getting into, and I really don't like the whole Thrones. I actually just. Let me be clear. I actually despise the fucking Thrones.
Yeah,
I hate them.
And Joe Budden alluded to, like, there might be some production costs. Like, it was a little sneak this, but he was like, nigga.
Oh, he said iHeart doesn't look like they believe in that show, and I believe, and I'm. Yes, I think that too. Like,
let's talk about that. Yeah.
The studio looks nicer, but I don't think there's a lot of like conspiracy. But I don't think that
there's a real infrastructure.
That show is what it once was. That show, I think. Because I'm not going to take nothing away from the number. Charlamagne said the podcast is getting like 20 million plays a month. So the show, I think, hit a peak, and the peak was so high that their base average is insane. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of let's push the Breakfast Club to be the greatest thing in the world, I don't feel that same push at all that I used to feel from before.
Yeah.
But I feel like we also talked about that before, too. And I also feel like everybody knows radio is not dead, but it is on life support. It's not a dying industry. It can still help you no matter who you are. As little as you may take radio and think it's completely dead, it's going to help a nigga's career, period.
It's not an iPod.
It's not an iPod. Yeah.
It's
just
literally college for
exactly.
media,
you can have a viral hit, but when you have a song that keeps getting played on the radio, that level of success is different. So radio is always going to have a thing, but I do genuinely believe that iHeart might not be putting as much funding behind the Breakfast Club in radio ventures because they're putting. I think they want Charlamagne to make this Black Effect podcast area to work for them.
So you think that they're banking the future on Charlamagne the God's podcast network?
I don't know if they're banking
instead of the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, I don't think they're banking the future, but I think that if I was a company that needs to expand outside of radio because I know it's a dying industry, and I take my top radio personality on my network or one of my top people, and I have him start an internet-based podcast network.
The next phase.
He could issue in the new phase that could supplement the money we lose from radio.
Exactly.
So I don't think that. So that's how I've always looked at that. You know what I'm saying? So even though Joe is taking a shot like that show don't look like it's got enough funding, I don't think so either. But I also think it's because they're trying to find supplements and alternatives.
They're just moving the money.
Yeah.
They're moving the money from that. They're moving the money around and seeing. Let's see what he can do with this. You know,
I will say that's coming from a nigga whose show looks overfunded.
Yes, yeah.
This nigga in the villain headquarters. But you do got to allocate your money wisely.
Right.
And it's like iHeart is a business, a major corporation.
Exactly, yeah. So it's like...
Black Effect is more important.
Yeah.
Like when it comes down to...
Then the Breakfast Club, though?
No. It's not more important than radio because radio is still iHeart's #1 bread and butter.
Of course.
But in terms of what our future is...
What could be.
Yes.
Especially...
That's top of the priority
with
list.
all this black shit going on, you know what I mean? Like, this is like... this is the groundwork.
Yes,
for
a
decade from now.
Yes,
you know
exactly,
what I mean?
exactly.
And do you think that overall people might just be experiencing a little fatigue with the Breakfast Club?
Nah. I think everything goes through phases. Like, how long was Howard Stern the nigga?
And that's what I mean. Like, it's fatigue. Like,
I
it's
don't
a
know.
phase.
It felt like he was that nigga for like 20. I don't know if he was,
because
but I don't know.
He's been doing this. He's never stopped doing the.
That's true. He's still doing it.
shit.
He's still doing it, right?
Yeah, bro. He's like 70.
Now I've heard he's toned down a little bit though. He's got that Sirius XM deal.
But that didn't stop. That's just recently though. You know what I mean?
He was on terrestrial radio from 86 to 2005, and then in 2006,
The XM.
transitioned
He has a
into.
broadcast on Sirius XM. Since
But I do
06.
wonder what his biggest, hottest years were, though. You know what I mean?
It might have lasted for like a decade. Like
Yeah,
when
because
did
when he had
Breakfast
Will
Club had a
Chamberlain in
decade.
there
Breakfast
talking
Club.
about fucking 20,000 bitches.
Yeah, because the Breakfast Club
Yeah.
had a decade
At
where it
least a
was hot,
decade.
and they're on year 13, I think, or something like that.
And is it selfish to want more than that? Like it doesn't even make sense for one radio show to just be the greatest radio show ever of all time. That just got a monopoly on the market. There's never gonna be new voices that come up that we want to hear from again.
Yeah, well, that's funny that y'all.
Like it doesn't. Like I feel like we shouldn't expect them to be what they were.
Well, that's
No.
what happens. Like, what about Drake?
What exactly?
Like Drake has done that for rap. Like he's just been the nigga for years.
But I've experienced. Me personally, I've experienced fatigue with Drake.
I've had moments where I've experienced fatigue for Drake.
Like
as
I
well.
haven't. Like he's just been so
But
good.
then when I
for
came
so
back, I
long
just
and-
came back.
It's
You
like
know what
it's
I'm
and
saying?
so respected that you just kind of get tired of it. That's why he's so memeable.
Yeah. So this is another
Well,
thing that
no,
I
that's
was,
not actually why he's so memeable. He plays into that shit.
this is another thing that
Yeah,
I was
he's
thinking
an
too.
actor.
This is a topic that I was going to bring up later, but it actually fits perfectly into here. Was, do you think the Breakfast Club audience has
matured out.
matured out? Do you think that they've matured with? And I'm really talking about Charlemagne, right?
Right.
Because we bought into Wild Charlemagne Sniff a Seat Charlemagne, and then we were even fans post Sniff a Seat Charlemagne until it just got like PC'd the fuck out, right? But I'm wondering, did his fan base just mature with him and stay consistent, or do you think his change brought a whole new demographic in? Like, I'm wondering where that age demographic is. Like when he first started Breakfast Club and it was the Wild era, was it the people like our age group that was into it, plus a couple older people, or
It was everybody. That's why he'll always be famous.
Yeah.
Because it was 10-year-olds that was watching him, because who doesn't want to see somebody sniff a bitch
Yeah.
a seat, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
with a fat
Yeah.
ass. But it was also the 30-year-olds that found it funny too.
Right.
Because Charlemagne, he was never just that.
yeah, he was never
always
just that
had
for sure.
some
He
good
always
takes.
he always had all versatility.
It was levels to his
madness, I
fuckery.
guess. Yeah,
And the
You know
thing
what I
is,
mean?
he caught the last like great decade of radio. Like the
Yeah.
last decade of where
Facts.
your mom is taking you to school in the morning and you hear Russ Paul in the morning.
Tom
Yeah.
Joyner.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even on the last Breakfast Brilliant Idiots Club, when he was like, I think the next future big superstar in radio
It's coming from YouTube.
is on YouTube right now. I'm thinking, nigga, ain't about to be no more fucking radio superstars. That's what I was thinking. Like, where the fuck is a radio superstar about to pop up out of nowhere?
You don't think
I
it's
don't-
possible?
No, I don't. It's a YouTube superstar that's gonna pop up. Like,
And they're
they
gonna
just-
also have a radio
They
show.
just happen to do a radio show, but
Yeah.
they're really YouTube savages.
Exactly.
But I think he just means the next generation of broadcasting talent.
Yeah.
Like whatever
Yeah.
medium that is in. And
Yeah.
he does radio, so he speaks from that perspective.
Ain't it so funny how that nigga went from low key disgusted with the YouTube niggas to now the next superstar is coming from YouTube?
I commend him on that.
Yeah.
Because it's better than him just being stubborn and doubling down and just
Yeah.
ignoring facts.
Ignorance
like it
is
shows that he's still malleable and he's still paying attention. And he can still
It just might
take
take
in-
it just might take him 2 months to get there.
Might
No,
take a
month
few
or
people
two.
telling him something behind the scenes.
You know, he deals with black women on a daily basis. We don't know how much free time he actually has.
I thought she was about to say stress he going through.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
Well,
saying.
Tony. That doesn't mean that, you know.
When he isn't stressing
Yeah.
over some African shit.
I was about to say, Pan Africanism gets stressful.
So
about
yeah,
your
I don't
people.
know. I did think that though. Like I was wondering that personally, like
Yeah.
what his fan base is like. You know what I'm saying? Like what are
It's-
the people that are riding for him? Because it's like, I know me, I'm not tuning into the Breakfast Club unless I hear there's a reason to tune in. That's just where I'm at with it now. Even though and I'm somebody who was, when I worked that office job and when I was even getting into radio and podcasting, I'm literally upset when the shit is late to drop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I was one of those people like, I've been at work at 9 a.m. I'm waiting for 10 a.m. for these fucking drops, and if they don't get here on time, I'm pissed. You know what I'm saying?
Because my lunch is fucked.
Yeah, like what the fuck am I gonna do for the next couple of hours if y'all don't get these uploads right? You know?
Shit, I gotta listen to my own thoughts.
Yeah, so I went from that person to just like I'll tune in when I tune in. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of where I'm at with it. But
and that's with the Breakfast Club, right?
that's what the Breakfast Club.
But they still have a wide audience.
They do.
Because they
do.
have the radio audience. Well, the radio audience is an older audience in general.
Yeah.
But when they were going
thing.
viral with the YouTube, that's what kind of expanded their whole demographic.
Radio was armed robbery. Like you kind of being held captive as a when you're listening to it because it's there.
You have no choice.
You don't have many other options.
Now that you say that, I wonder if their radio numbers have gone up, even though I know they're not doing as well in the ratings in New York that they used to be. But I do wonder if their core is coming more from radio now than because I know before it was all YouTube. But I wonder if it's switched now to where it's less internet, which is catering to probably a younger demographic, and more.
It's probably evened out a little bit,
or maybe balance it out because I feel like at one point I feel like the internet was always more than the radio.
Yeah,
even though I don't think it's possible technically. Just because you can't be syndicated in fucking half the country,
and then not have that be more,
and and not have those numbers account for more. I think that's just literally impossible. But I think you understand what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and the benefits from both of them are different.
Exactly.
Like radio lasts way longer. I feel like, especially with like that type of show.
Yes. Yeah.
Some internet fame.
It's more efficient.
Yeah. And then you know what? We also got to remember. We also got to keep in mind. I remember. I think he even Charlemagne brought up that when he wrote that book, that changed. I think he got a lot of new infusion to his core demographic.
Writing a book opens up so many doors, nigga.
So it's like
the nigga interviewed Judy Blume.
Yeah, the ones that we lost, that wasn't even that big. Honestly, the numbers weren't even that great on that interview.
But not numbers, but in terms of like this hip hop media journalist is talking to a white woman to make children's book.
True, but
and
I think and I just think in terms of maybe the younger generation, the people in their 30s and their late 20s that stop watching as much like me, I think that book and that mental health drive that he was on, because remember, he kind of ushered in that.
Yes,
you know
what
I'm saying?
Yes,
like he ushered in that whole mental health thing. So even if you might not have ever heard of Charlemagne until the mental health arc started. And then he probably got 10 times more people. The numbers that he lost from me not listening every day were minuscule. I was replaced by 5 niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that arc alone might have boosted him so crazy that it doesn't even fucking matter in his world, because who cares if I'm a casual listener anymore? That book move and that mental health arc that I went on those 5 years, fucking shit on that entire arc that I had from just hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
And another thing is that we always we seem to just talk about the Breakfast Club's numbers being lower, but nobody ever really mentions that like radio numbers are just lower. Like, what are they doing in comparison to everybody else?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, like they're probably
if they still on top, they on top.
Yeah, they probably still haven't lost as much as everybody else has lost. Is what you're saying?
No. Other people are still number one, like LaMega, Steve Harvey. He's still smacking ass. He's still like beating everybody.
Steve Harvey beats everybody. Steve Harvey got white people.
Yeah, same with like LaMega, the Spanish channel. Is like they're still number one in the market, not just urban.
Yeah.
Like Breakfast Club.
Urban radio, hip hop.
Breakfast Club was always number one in the urban sector, not number one, period. Because Steve Harvey was always whooping everybody else's ass.
Which is a point that Star likes to harp on a lot.
It. That's his favorite. That's his favorite thing to harp on.
Now, you can't entertain white people though.
So you're the best.
This is his favorite thing.
You're only the best at it, niggas.
Yeah. Like that's how he's looking at it.
You said you the coolest monkey in the jungle.
Essentially, pretty much. Because when he was on, he was number one, period.
Okay.
So it's different, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, he even said, especially I think specifically in that text interview, he was like, "Nigga, I never really liked hip hop radio."
No, he was playing. He was playing rock and metal on the hip hop station because that's what he felt like listening to. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was different.
He said he wasn't following the programming, obviously.
Not at all, and that's what made him so great, pretty much on the radio.
Loose cannon.
Should we get into? Yeah, let's just do it because Charlemagne and Joe Budden in the title. You can't beat that.
Yeah.